Welcome to the Bluegrass Trust for Historic Preservation's January deTour. In 2020, Nathaniel Hawker and I took you on a tour of mid-century roadside architecture where we celebrated iconic signs like the one you see behind me. But did you ever wonder who designed and fabricated these landmarks? If you live in Kentucky and have ever been utterly wowed by a neon sign, odds are it was created by the Ruggles sign company. For over 75 years, this family-owned business has been creating significant signs that have been showcased throughout the world. The Ruggles sign team have retrofitted a mid-century plant in Versailles, Kentucky, where they utilize state-of-the-art sign-making technology, but also pay attention to their roots by still continuing to offer classic sign painting and the art of bending neon. We are so excited to share this legacy business and their gorgeous facility on today's deTour. Enjoy!
After World War II, my grandfather, John Ruggles, came back to Kentucky and decided to move to the Lexington area. I think around 1946, he started Ruggles Sign.
Grandma and Grandpa were living in Corbin at the time, and he saw that there had been supposedly a big storm had come through, and he saw a lot of damaged signs, and so I think he saw an opportunity.
He was primarily a neon tube bender. And from there, the business grew, but it was mostly a local custom sign shop.
I've been with Ruggles for 36 years. John Ruggles, our founder, is my grandfather-in-law, and my wife, Ann, and I started working for him while she was in college. John, being the founder, he tried to pass his business on. He had two children, neither of which were interested in the business. So as luck would have it, my wife and I started working with him with no intentions at all in staying in the business. But it kind of grew on us, and here we are today. John was a great guy. He was quite the mentor. He could have easily just let the business die, but his name was on the front door, and he decided, I'm going to find a way to make this business stay around.
We're really thankful that he got to see it grow into what it has become.
We've moved several times in Lexington. I know we've had locations on Manchester Street and Upper and South Upper and North Upper and other, Main Street, other locations as well.
When I went to work for my grandfather, we were at the corner of 3rd and Upper in Lexington. It was in a building that had been an old dairy barn, from what I understand. And my grandfather also owned the property beside us, which were some of Belle Breezing's earliest row houses. And when we made the move to Versailles, we were able to talk with Transylvania. Obviously, they were interested in the property since it was right behind their buildings. And so they were able to purchase the property, and they renovated the row houses, and they're still standing. When we first moved to Versailles, we moved into a bigger building. It was an old Keebler factory where they stored cookies and crackers, and that was just a couple of miles from here over on Crossfield Drive. For us, it was a big move up, a big increase in square footage, and we made a lot of signs in that facility, but we outgrew that as well.
We always wanted to have a brand new facility, just from scratch, built the way we wanted it. So we bought land, and we were going to build brand new. And it just kept coming back to us that this building would be better to rehab. So we rehabbed this building, completely renovated it front to back. When we bought this building, the company that was here before us was Coolman Electric. And what Coolman did is they made pole-mounted transformers that you see that powers your home. So when we bought this, we were real concerned about what the environmental impact would be on this building. So, there were various environmental studies done on the property. They never produced transformers with PCBs here in Versailles, and that was a great thing. The Brownfield program, what it does, it allows people like us to buy property like this and be assured that none of the legacy problems, anything that happened prior to our buying the property would follow us. The property's in great shape, but it was a great opportunity and a peace of mind for us to put a property that should be put back in good use, to good use.
I believe that what we've done at Ruggles is make sure that we take the principles and the policies that we had of making individual signs in Lexington and in Kentucky, and just taking that nationwide. The older signs have such a heritage, and they're kind of iconic that people know the parquet. People know Paul Miller Ford. You know, they've been around almost as long as we have. They are just symbols in Lexington of true Lexington history. And the fact that we created them makes it special on our end to know that we had an impact that's still lasting. The beauty of it is that they have kind of character with the aging over years so that they look vintage, and because they are vintage, it actually adds character and it adds another dimension, I think, to the signs themselves, that they're still here and they're still strong and people still love to visit them.
Welcome to Ruggle Sign. My name is Brad Turpin Jr. I'm the operations manager here. I'm very excited that I get to show you a virtual tour of our facility and what we do here, and I think we may surprise you a little bit. And then we have a couple demos, a little neon fabrication demo, and then kind of an old school sign painter demo that I think you'll enjoy. Our building here was built in 1969. It was originally built by the Coleman Corporation. It was manufactured transformers that go on top of telephone poles. I think it stayed in business 26 years, and then it sat vacant for many years. We kind of redid the entire facility, and it's all based on workflow. It starts up front where our proposals and drawings all come in from our customers, and you'll find out real quick that we're not your normal, I guess, mom and pop type of sign shop, that we can do your banners and your garage sale signs and things like that, but that's not really what we're here for. We make signs that will go on the front of storefronts all over the world. We're very proud of that. But basically it all starts up in our administrative function where we'll send proposals and take the drawings that our customers provide us, and our project management team and our design team will get the necessary approvals from our customers. So once we have all of those approvals, it will go into our graphics department. And our graphics department is where they will handle all of the vinyl work and all of the plate generation. And our plates is what all of our machines use to cut the material. And as you walk through our shop, you'll see all of the wide range of materials that we have, from different shapes, from tubing to solid tube to hollow tube to different sheets of plastic and acrylic and polycarbonate and brass and aluminum and steel and ACM. I mean, the materials are endless. But our graphics department will make the plates that will cut all this material, and they will send those computer-generated files to our machines, be it a clincher that will cut the sides of the letters or the returns of the letters, or the backs and the fronts of the letters that'll go to our laser or a water jet, or we have 4 CNC routers, and they will cut the material. And then we have craftsmen, and I say craftsmen because building a sign, I truly believe it is a craft. As you walk through our facility, you'll see that we don't have assembly lines. We're not a normal factory that you will see. We have craftsmen and technicians that will build these signs, that will take the materials off our routers and laser and water jet, and they will assemble them into letters or cabinets or panels or whatever signs that the customer would dream up. So we will weld or solder or glue the signs together or fasten together, however it's needed. Then we'll prep them and we'll take them over to our automotive paint booths. And you will see that we have 4 automotive paint booths. We use the same type of automotive paint that you would use on your car. Once it's all painted and prepped and cared for, we'll take it to our assembly area. Once it's in assembly, that's when, I call it the magic, that's when we'll put in the lighting. We can match any color lighting, white, red, blue, you name it. And this is all when the neon would also happen as well. 95% of our signs are LEDs these days, but we still have customers that request neon. We'll put all these signs together with the LEDs or neon, and we'll assemble them. And again, we take great care in our crating and our shipping. And again, these signs have to ship all over the world. As you go through the facility, you also see some old older signage, some old vintage signs that we've refurbished, and you'll see the one behind me that we're in the process of refurbing. But we've got the Dutch Mill sign that was on UK campus. We've got an old parking sign that was over off Limestone in downtown Lexington, Kentucky, a Rosebud Bar sign. We've actually got a new vintage C.O. Bigelow sign we built for L Brands, as well as a few other non-illuminated signs throughout. As you travel about the world, I encourage you to look around. We've done some really high-profile projects for our customers. It came from Little Oversales, Kentucky, and again, it's something that we're proud of. Our first demo will be Shane Greenwell. Shane Greenwell has been with Ruggles Sign for over 20 years. He's a sign painter. He works in our graphics department, and he'll be demoing how we used to do sign painting back in the day, and be doing some sign painting as well for us. And then after that, Jack Seal, who's again been with Ruggles for over 20 years, will be doing a neon bending demo for us.
My name is Shane Greenwell. I've been at Ruggles for 25 years now, and I started in the sign business about 35 years ago, just before the computer era started. So back then, everything was done by hand, and we would start off with the projector, a simple overhead projector. Hand draw our artwork most of the time, and decide on the size that we wanted. And with this projector, you can adjust the size a little bit, but if you roll it back and forth, of course, it'll make it bigger or smaller. After we've decided the size we want, it's just a matter of hand marking your pattern. Of course, to be more precise, we would have straight edges and things. But for this demonstration, we'll just do it real quick. After we get it sized up the way we want it, the next step would be to take a pounce wheel, which a lot of people that do sewing would be familiar with. We would put this on a piece of cardboard or foam. We would draw this pounce wheel around there, and that would actually poke little holes through the paper. And then we would take this to our substrate that we wanted to paint, mark it out where we want it, and then take charcoal dust, rub that on the paper. It would penetrate through the holes, take the paper off, and that will leave our image to hand paint. We've used our projector to size up our artwork. We've drawn it on the paper. We've done the pounce pattern. I've applied the charcoal through the pattern, and you can see the small dots that I'm going to follow with the brush. There's special tapes that you could use to get a nice smooth line, top and bottom, but I'll just go ahead and freehand the whole thing. When I first started, I used to do a lot of storefront windows on sidewalks and things, and eventually somebody would come up and want to watch, and I usually would tell them, you can watch, but you have to talk about something. And that'd either chase them away or we could have a good conversation.
What I'm going to do here is bombard this unit, which means I'm going to heat it up, the glass and the electrodes, and then once it gets to a certain temperature, I'm going to pull a vacuum on it where it pulls all the impurities out, and then once it cools down, I'll come back and dump this mercury in it and tip it off. You can see the electrodes are starting to get a little hot, and the glass. Right now you can see the degrees on there. When I open this, I'm just pulling a little air out of it. That's probably about 500 degrees Fahrenheit, because this is in Celsius. And then once that cools down to about 50, I'll go back and put my gas in it, and then dump the mercury in it and tip it off. Here's what I'm just using a ribbon burner just to show you the width of the fire and where I do like circles and all that. You can adjust your fire, whatever you want. Just there's too much there, doesn't it? I put 3 marks on one side because that's the direction I'm going to be bending in. It's like watching water boil. Okay, the reason I have a hose is because when you get it to a certain stage, you have to blow the walls out of it. If you don't, it'll collapse on you. A 90 first, and then a double back. The reason I go back in the fire to anneal it, make it stronger, so it don't crack or break on you when you bombard it. I go back and put the gas in that unit. Okay, what I'm gonna do here is I've done pulled the complete vacuum down on my unit. I'm gonna close my vacuum and then put my gas in and tip it off with a torque. This tells how much gas you're putting in. That's 15 millimeters, so I'm gonna put 9 pounds of pressure in it. What I'm gonna do here is dump this mercury in my unit to make the brightness, and then I'm gonna tip this off. Then I'll put my unit on the burn-in table over there and let the mercury disperse on the electrodes and then the glass, and that's what makes it bright.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's detour. If you'd like more information about the Ruggles Sign Company, please visit www.rugglesign.com. And for more information on the Bluegrass Trust for Historic Preservation, please visit www.bluegrasstrust.org. We look forward to seeing you next month.